Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive.
Mhm.
So you guys know how much we love to dig into stuff you send us, and this time we're tackling a video from Elevate Yourself called Sign of the Times.
Yeah, this one really caught our eye, especially with all the talk about these uncertain times and
It's
everything.
like, is there really something to this whole Sign of the Times thing?
Right. And the video uses this biblical passage, 6 Timothy 3.1 to 5, and frames it as this kind of like a guide to spotting difficult times.
Yeah, it's a pretty intense passage.
Oh, for sure. It lists out all these, well, kind of negative behaviors, and the video suggests they're like these indicators of, tougher periods in history.
So let's actually jump into the passage itself so everyone listening can follow along.
That's good.
All right, so it says, but understand this, that in the last days there will come times of difficulty. Okay, so right off the bat, it's talking about difficulty.
Yeah,
So
setting the stage.
okay, then it goes on. For people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy.
Whoa, hold on. That's a lot already.
Right, and it keeps going. Heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving good, treacherous, reckless, swollen with conceit, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God.
Okay, so clearly painting a picture of like moral decay.
Definitely. And then it finishes with, having the appearance of godliness but denying its power. Avoid such people. So there you have it. Quite a list.
Yeah, it's pretty heavy stuff, but before we go drawing any conclusions, we need to consider the context of this passage. I mean, it's a letter, right, from the Apostle Paul to a young pastor named Timothy.
Oh, right, the historical context.
Yeah, and some scholars believe Paul was addressing specific problems within the early Christian community, while others see it as a broader commentary on human nature, especially during times of societal change.
So it might not be meant to be taken as like a literal, end of the world
Yeah,
prophecy.
exactly. It could be more about recognizing these challenges that, kind of pop up throughout history, regardless of the specific time period.
Okay, that makes sense. So maybe instead of thinking about it as predicting a specific time, we should think about it as a way to understand these recurring challenges.
Right.
Right.
And, as I was going through this list of characteristics, I couldn't help but think, well, do any of these traits sound kind of familiar, like looking at our current world and all?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the whole levers of self thing,
Yeah.
that definitely screams social media and like the whole selfie culture. Yeah.
For sure. And the relentless pursuit of money, sometimes at the expense of others, that feels very relevant to the lovers of money description. I mean, think about corporate greed, economic inequality, all that.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. It's like everywhere you look.
And it's not just about individual behavior, right? I mean, think about how these characteristics might play out on a bigger scale, like
Yeah.
political polarization, right?
Oh, yeah.
People digging their heels in, refusing to listen to other perspectives, or, the spread of
Oh,
misinformation.
for sure. With all the fake news and deep fakes and everything.
It's like no one knows what to believe anymore.
Right. It's like, who can you trust?
Exactly. And that erosion of trust, in institutions, in media, in each other, that could be seen as another, like, societal manifestation of some of these traits we're seeing in the passage.
Wow. Yeah, I hadn't thought about it that way before. It's like this ancient text is suddenly a commentary on our modern world.
It's crazy, right? But there's another part of this passage that really stood out to me, and I'm curious to get your take on it. It's that line about, having the appearance of godliness but denying its power. What do you make of that?
Oh, yeah, that one really got me thinking too. It's like, maybe it's talking about this gap between what we show on the outside and what's really going on inside. Like maybe we're all about appearances, but not so much about substance.
Yeah, yeah, like all about looking good but not actually living it, and that feels so relevant today. Like think about performative activism on social media.
Oh, totally. It's like all about the likes and the shares and less about actually making a difference.
Right, or how easily we get sucked into these echo chambers online, just surrounding ourselves with people who agree with us, instead of actually engaging with different viewpoints.
Like we're all just reinforcing our own biases.
Exactly. And so that line about having the appearance of godliness but denying its power, it's a reminder to be real, to be authentic, to focus on internal transformation, not just external presentation.
Yeah, it's about walking the walk, not just talking the talk.
Absolutely. And that's where I think the real value of this deep dive lies. It's not about getting bogged down in the doom and gloom.
Right, right. It's not about negativity.
It's about using this passage as a way to understand ourselves better, to understand the world better, and to, maybe even inspire some positive change.
I love that. So for everyone listening, here's a question to think about. If this one passage can have so many different interpretations, and if it can be applied to different times in history, what other signs of the times might we be missing?
That's a good one.
Yeah, what patterns or trends are you seeing in your own life, in your community, in the world, that maybe you're signaling a need for change or a need for reflection? Don't just take our word for it. Keep exploring, keep questioning, keep digging deeper. And who knows, maybe you'll uncover some signs of the times we haven't even thought of yet.
Now that would be a truly deep dive.
That's what we're all about.
Keep those brains working, everybody.
All right, and on that note, we'll catch you on the next deep dive.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
See ya.